Hi, Leslie.
Hi, Alesandra.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes, my name is Leslie Swan. I'm the Supervisor of Elections here in Indian River County. And what we do here at this office is we conduct all the elections for the county, whether it be municipal elections, all the way up to the presidential election. And
when you say conduct elections, does that mean counting ballots?
yes, we do everything from start to finish. We qualify the local candidates here, and then we make up the ballots, and then we train all the poll workers. We just got finished training about 280 poll workers for the upcoming primary election. We're in charge of all the voting equipment. We just got a new voting system last year. Anything that has to do with elections, we're in charge of.
What is the difference between the two elections?
Okay, the first election on August 28th is a primary election. The state of Florida is a closed primary state, which means only in primary elections you have to vote the party that you're registered. That's the ballot that you'll get. So if you're registered Democrat, you're going to vote in all the Democrat partisan races. Same thing if you're Republican, or if you're no party affiliation or one of the minor parties, then you are allowed to vote on any nonpartisan issues. And this upcoming election, I hear people say all the time, oh, well, there's nothing on the ballot for me. We have 3 school board seats that are up. This is the first time I can ever remember where no incumbents are running. And we also have a county court judge that position is available, and also a circuit court judge.
How many county court judges are there?
2
And
in our county.
Okay. And circuits?
Okay, a circuit court judge is, they work in Martin County, Okeechobee, St. Lucie, and Indian River County. So there's a circuit, and they handle different cases. Yeah, well, usually they're placed in a position, and then they can be moved around. So yes.
Circuit.
Yes, and they handle different cases than the county court.
So by the time August 28th rolls around, we have already decided what parties we want
Right.
to be in.
It's like your party is picking who you want to go against the other party in the general election.
So it's a narrowing down of the masses of
Right.
candidates. So
Exactly.
then by November 6th, it's just a few left.
Right, so the Republican candidates are going to choose who they want in a race, the Democrats are going to choose who they want in a race, and then they go against each other in the general election. But I do have to point out, in a general election, that's when, if someone is running as a no party affiliation or a write-in candidate, they automatically go to the general election.
Okay, so
Are there candidates or amendments we are voting for in the primary that will not be on the general election ballot?
School board and the judicial races. If no one gets 50% of the vote, then the top 2 vote getters go on to the general election. Let's say there were 3 people in the race, A, B, and C, and A candidate gets 60% of the votes that were cast, then that person's the winner. If they all get, 33 and a third, percent, then the top.
then we vote on
the top 2, yes, they go on to the general election.
So there's a chance that the people on the August 28th, in the August 28th election, that they won't go on to November 6th because we've already chosen them on August 28th.
Where can we find out the responsibilities of the various candidates?
Probably the best thing to do would be Google, Florida Attorney General. It will tell you, what their responsibilities are. It'll probably take you to the website, and you can see all the things that they're involved with.
Okay, so with every one of the jobs, from the school board to
Yes.
circuit judges,
Yes.
just Google, what do they do?
I would do that, but also with the school board here, you were asking about the districts. Okay, in Indian River County, the candidate has to live in the district, but every registered voter will have the school board races on their ballot. And that's very confusing to people because they think that they can only vote for the person in their district. They can vote for anyone in all 3 districts. It's just the candidate that has to live within the district.
What do the groups and numbers mean?
For the circuit court, There's 20, I believe, circuit courts within the state of Florida. We're in the 19th Judicial Circuit Court, so they're broken up by areas.
County is 19?
It's Indian River County, St. Lucie, Martin, and Okeechobee. It's the circuit.
Is group 19?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
If I make a mistake, does my ballot get thrown away?
First of all, we never throw out a ballot. Even if you make a mistake and you need to get another ballot, we hold on to those. They're in a spoiled ballot envelope. We have to account for everything. Because in the beginning of the day, on election day, the poll workers get a certain amount of ballots. At the end of the day, when they close the polls, they have to reconcile all those ballots. So they have to count the number of unused ballots, the number of ballots that were cast on the voting equipment, the number of ballots that were spoiled, the number of ballots that were provisional. So the number in the morning has to equal the number at night.
Oh, right.
And if you make a mistake, then you can go back and get another ballot. But you also have the option, let's say that you mark 2 candidates in a race for one. When you deposit your ballot into the voting machine, it will kick it back and say that you made an error. You have the choice of getting another ballot or overriding it yourself. The voter can override it, and that race won't count, but every other race that's marked correctly will count.
Oh, I see.
They're very smart machines.
Good to know.
And it's the same thing when you vote a absentee or a mail ballot. When we run them through here, obviously the person isn't here. All those ballots that are overvoted or look like they're blank, maybe the person marked it wrong, they didn't fill in the bubble, maybe they circled the candidate's name, those are all segregated. And then they go before a canvassing board, which is a county court judge, a member of the Board of County Commissioners, and myself. And if we can tell the voter's intent, then we highlight what we all three agree on, and then a duplicate ballot is made. We keep the original. So the original is ballot A1 and the duplicate's A1. We keep all of the originals in an envelope, and then we run the duplicated ballots through. So everybody gets a chance, even if they make a mistake, either
So
in
you-
person.
So
or,
you can just vote for one thing and
Yeah.
turn in your ballot.
Oh, people do that all the time, especially in a presidential election. They'll just vote for the presidential race and nothing else.
How long does it take before the results are in?
Okay, well, we open up the mail ballots, absentee ballots, ahead of time, because you can't open 17, 18,000 of them, you know, on election night when the polls close. So those tabulations and also early voting, we have to put them into our system. I think it's the Monday before the election, because you want to make sure everything goes in right. No results are released, nothing. And then on election night, we modem in the results now. We've got new equipment. We couldn't do that before. And as long as the modem transmits from the precinct, which we didn't have any trouble the first time we used it, and you know, there are occasions when 1 or 2 won't come through. Those are, first of all, on election night at 7:01, we release the absentee totals and the early voting totals. And then once we start getting the modem results in, then we release those. If there's a precinct where the modem doesn't come through, we call them results runners. They're the first ones to leave the polling places, and they have the results cartridges that they bring back to us. So we can stick in those cartridges and run the results. Then we have another team that is finishing packing up at the polling place, and then this team of people, 2 of them, bring back the voted ballots. So we always have check and balances, and nothing comes together, because you know, if there was something that happened with the results cartridges, someone got in an accident, we still have the paper ballots.
Wow, what a process.
Oh, it is a big process.
Yeah. Okay. Any advice for all of us layman voters out there who want to learn more?
Well, my biggest advice is, you know, people complain all the time. They're not happy with some of their elected officials, but yet they don't turn out to vote. And a presidential election is pretty good in Indian River County. We get between a 78 to 80% turnout. But for a primary election, in 2016 it was about 31%. In 2014 it was about, I think it was 19%. It's terrible.
Of voters?
Of
came out to
voters.
vote?
Yes, that's it. It's shocking.
Yeah.
And the same amount of work goes into an election, whether we have 100% turnout or whether we have 1% turnout. So I can't encourage people enough to get out and vote and have their voice heard.
So can you tell us where to go to get more information about all the amendments that are on the ballot this year?
Okay, well, we have actually the 13 amendments that are listed on our website, and we here at the Elections Office do not give out interpretations of what those amendments mean, because they mean different things to different people. These constitutional amendments, a lot of them have several topics that are combined together. It's not just one issue. So the voter is going to have to go out and do their research on these constitutional amendments. We have a ministerial function. We just carry out conducting the elections. We don't give any information because everyone has their own bias. So the voter is going to have to go out there and do their own research. You know, it's the same with the candidates. We're lucky here in Indian River County. You could pick up the phone and call these candidates and ask them what they think, because that's the easiest way to get the information. You know, and a lot of people, if they're already on the county commission, you can see how they voted. You can look at the minutes from past meetings. Same thing with school board. But if they're brand new, you know, I guess the best way is to sit down and talk with them.
So just to recap, the Supervisor of Elections, which basically that's you,
Yes.
right? And you're
And my staff.
You all this office does is they oversee proper election process with integrity. Like, it's counted properly, it's checks and balances.
But it's not just overseeing it. I mean, it's the whole piece of, yes, maintaining the equipment, getting new equipment when you need to. Right now, security. That's a huge topic that's going on right now, and we're doing all kinds of things to beef up security. It's multifaceted, you know, hiring all of the poll workers. Then we have to hire extra people to help us with the phone bank. It's training all of these people. I say it's like you're throwing a party for 111,000 people, and you have to have every detail right because you can't do it over.
Right.
And we are in charge of the voter rolls. Each day we get from the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, I'd say about 80% of the people register when they get their driver's license. All of that information is transferred over to us daily. We have to go through that. Then when we get notification from the state of people that have committed a felony, who are mentally incapacitated, who have died, we have to go through a whole process with that. You just don't take them off the rolls. It's a whole process. You have to send them certified letters, give them a chance to verify if the information is correct. Polling place changes. We decided to change 2 different polling places. We send out thousands of cards. Now, I have to tell you, we probably got 1,000 of them back in the mail returned. People are temporarily away. We have to process all of that information. We have 11 people that work here. I mean, there's a lot that goes on. We're also the custodian for all of the Form 1s and Form 6s, financial disclosure forms. We're in charge of getting the people to turn them in, and we have custody of them here. So there's so much that goes on here that people have no idea what we do. They're like, don't you just work one day a year? I said, nothing could be further from the truth.
Thank you so much.
You're
for
welcome.
tonight. Thank you for clearing it up for all us laymen, the common man. We really appreciate it.
No, I'm glad you're doing something like this.
Let's bring up the numbers of people coming out to vote.
Absolutely.